comfortable with it.
I was wondering how,
You don't. I mean, I'm sure, as you well know, it's not something that you can then kind of process and it's part of you. It's merely you control your outward emotion. Like if somebody brings up grace, if they had brought up grace 6 years ago, I would fall apart and basically have to go.
Right.
Now I can talk about her and I can control the outward emotion, how I respond, even speaking to you now. I can keep it together, but it's not something that ever becomes any easier. There are so many things that don't get answered in this. You know, when parents die, when grandparents die, there's an assumption of life there. It's something you know the second you're old enough to understand death, that older people go before you.
Right.
When your child dies, you know, it's not like you're an orphan when your parents die, or a widow when your husband dies, or a widower. You exist in this category that a lot of people don't want to think about.
No, right.
It's too hard.
Yeah, it is way too hard. And it's not that I ever took comfort in the fact that other people have had children die, but I do think about people who live in countries where life is more transient, where kids die because of
They can't eat.
starvation, or kids die in, you know, civil wars. And I
Or
think
they
about
lose children along,
I think about those mothers, and I think about how I felt about my daughter, and it's no different than how some mom in Africa feels about her child.
It's interesting because after 9/11, I remember, you know, I probably was one of the only people who thought of it this way. I'm watching the towers going down, and like everybody else, I was looking at it, and the one thing that hit me was 3,000 people. How many generations will this take till it'll evolve? I was thinking of the long-term effects of it because I know what that means. There's so much happening around you.
Right.
It's the siblings and it's the families and it's communities and it's I saw that. I saw the bigger, the larger picture, not just individuals just dying. It's like all of it.
You know what
No,
Go
you're
ahead,
right.
right.
There's something about that loss that is so powerful. And as you talked about your children, it does get passed on for 2-3 generations. It's
What
not
do you mean?
something
I needed to understand
that there is something about the loss of a sibling when you're 5 or 6 that's going to impact
Yeah.
how your children will raise their children.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yes.
either how
Right.
precious it is, how strongly they're going to attach.
Right.
Or for some children, they may struggle twice as hard
To attach?
because they know how fragile this is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
So as you say, sometimes it takes 2-3 generations
Yeah.
to work that out because there's something about the loss of a child that